As a mum, the phrase, "I feel so guilty," often produces a knowing look or a very forced smile from other mums. "We had takeaway last night because we were too tired. I didn't play with my kids as much as that mum does. I don't give them enough responsibility. I give them too much responsibility." That's only a few out of the gazillion reasons parents can feel guilty. Well, Belle Mooney writes for the Daily Mail about what she sees as the 5 stages of guilt that a mother goes through in her parental journey. Rach, what did you make of this? Could you relate to the early ones?
Yeah, because obviously I didn't get to the later ones because she splits it between preschool age, junior age, then getting into young adulthood, and then to the granny stage. So obviously I've only experienced that beginning one. But I remember when I was first pregnant, my sister-in-law, I mentioned something that I felt guilty, and my sister-in-law said, "Welcome to motherhood."
Oh.
Yeah. That for the rest of
constant guilt
of time I would feel guilty. But she splits it between saying in the beginning stage, like, why am I so bored? Why do I feel lonely? To I feel so jealous of the nanny. I'm not sure how many women identify with this one, of feeling jealous of the nanny, but not feeling like present enough, feeling like other people are taking care of your kids. Then their bad behavior is all my fault. I didn't love them enough by the time you get to the young adult stage. And then why can't I keep my mouth shut? So
that's where I'm at.
I was like, I'm not looking at you, Shona, but
she's been there for a while. So which ones could you identify with?
All of them.
Yeah.
Part of me was going like, oh, come on, stop feeling guilty, because we all feel guilty. I don't care whether you're a hovering mother or a non-hovering mother or the caring mother or whatever. We all have that guilt.
Yeah.
And I think that it's passed on from generation to generation to generation. And at some point, we just need to stop and say, you were a good mum. You are a good mum.
Why do you think we feel the guilt though? Like, because I've thought about this. I'm like, is it my culture that's putting it on me, or is it me putting it on me? Like, why do you think we feel such guilt about not being these perfect parents?
Well, I have no experience with this, but if, guilt I think just stems from inadequacy. Isn't that like the root of guilt? Inadequacy?
It's because you
I certainly feel inadequate.
You see others and think that's how you should be.
I think that's part of it. The other part is in so many parts of life, if you put X in, you're going to get Y results. But with your children, like you can put in certain, you can do certain things. You can put inputs in. But you have no idea what the outcome's going to be, And then when you see the other side, you just feel like, all that must be my fault,
Yes, that's the one I'm looking down the barrel of now. Like my kids are at school and I'm really nervous about it because I'm so sure I'm going to blame myself for their bad behaviour because I know what I'm doing now impacts what comes later.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of performance related to parenting. I was in a music class with Jax just yesterday, and the music teacher at one point, he was squirming and I was trying to hold him firmly in place, and she made a note that she was like, Rachel, sometimes you need to learn how to like push and pull in parenting, and she's like, it's a very difficult balance to know how much to hang on to your kid, how much to let go, and it is because we're very performance driven. Like many of our personalities are performance driven, and then we put that on our children as well.
Yeah. They're given to you for such a short time, and I've had this reflection back now because mine are both young adults, and by next year they will have left home, and I'm looking back at what I've done with my children, and a friend of mine is doing the same thing because her children are there too, and she's really negative about it, and I said, your children are lovely. You need to appreciate the parenting that you've done. Let go of them because you've parented as well as you have. You can't hold on to them forever.
And it's so much easier to see the negative things that you've done than the positive. You always hold on to that.
Yes. Like, your children will grow up beautiful. You just have to give them your best.
But sorry.
I was just going to say it's a challenge as well because we think that if our children don't behave a certain way, then we can't maybe have that love for them. But I think it's about having this acceptance for whoever they are as people instead of them fitting into this box that we have for them.
Yeah, and fitting into
I'm speaking to myself, I think.
That society often puts on us subconsciously. We don't always realise, but, I've had women in the shop, like in the shopping centre, look at my kids and you're like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? And you're like, hang on, why am I jumping when you're looking at my child like that? They're allowed to be themselves, but it's just a natural thing that happens. Has anyone ever had a quick chat with their mum about their own sort of guilt journey and motherhood at all, or?
Like the way we feel guilty.
Yeah, or what their journey was like with us as kids.
Yeah, I haven't had that specific conversation, but maybe it's something I'll go and chat with her about.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's certainly something that we all have to deal with, but I think we should all remember we're doing the very best we can. And look at us. We've all turned out great. So take some consolation from that.